Oh, it takes a few minutes.
It says you are live now.
All right.
Good morning. Good morning. I believe we are live. Wondering if anybody can let us know if you hear us. Maybe say hello in the chat box.
Yes, good mornings.
Good morning. Sabrina, can you hear us?
Thanks, Sabrina.
We can hear and see. Awesome. So we are excited to be here.
It looks like we're good to go.
Yeah. Let's see. I will share my screen to get us started. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nicole Worley. I'm the Director of College and Career Readiness at Sandhills Community College. We are here together as a team to present to you this session on a collaborative project that we did working on CCR curriculum maps. I'd like to ask my colleagues to go ahead and introduce themselves, beginning with Susan.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Susan Honeycutt. I'm the Dean of Arts, Sciences, Business, and Technology at Davidson-David Community College. I appreciate the opportunity to work on this project, and I think our faculty have gained so much as a result.
Thanks, Susan. I'm Jennifer Mock. I'm the Director of Academic and Career Readiness at Alamance Community College, and I think you're going to find out we just had a lot of fun with this collaboration.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laurie Weston. I'm the Director of Transitional Studies at Pitt Community College. And ditto what everyone else has said. I think we've got something that will be very useful to our colleagues across the state.
Good morning. My name is Jordan Williamson, and I'm the Director of College and Career Readiness here at Randolph Community College. Thank you for being here with us this morning.
All right. Moving on. So we will be talking about our curriculum mapping project where the idea originated. We're going to brag on our team a bit, or our 5 teams. We'll talk about the plan that we came up with and the process, because it was certainly a process that was at times daunting. And then, of course, we're sharing the results. So that's what we're so excited for. The idea for this project, none of us can take credit for, really. It came from a presentation that Michael Tilley did back in October. It was right in the middle of the pandemic. We were grateful for any tips and advice that we could get at that point. Michael Tilley shared about how to incorporate content standards into lesson plans, and he also shared some sample curriculum maps that he had designed when he taught, I believe it was 5th grade. And I don't know about each of you, but I know that whenever we hire a new instructor, one of the first questions we're asked is, okay, where's the curriculum? And we hand them this great big binder full of content standards, and we say, well, here are the content standards, and we encourage collaboration between staff, and we share with them a repository of lesson plans that we have. And we let them know that, well, that's you pull the curriculum by using these content standards. So the idea of being able to put together something very comprehensive but very user-friendly was very exciting. So we wanted to be able to provide more resources, more guidance on which content standards to teach. We wanted it to be in a very clear and concise manner, and really give the instructors that tool that would also give them extra time, save them time, while ensuring that our students were receiving quality instruction that they needed. So that was a tall order, and it was certainly not something that I could do alone or even ask my team to do alone. The idea of taking on the curriculum map was, as I said, just very daunting, especially during COVID when we were all very stretched, trying to learn new ways to connect, provide quality instruction from a distance, and support our instructors. It was definitely not something I felt we could do alone. It needed a team. Collaboration was key on this project. Alone, I know we would have been in way over our heads for sure. And so I reached out to just a couple other directors that I knew for sure would be great collaborators, and they would help get the job done at the quality level that the project required. So I reached out to Jennifer and Lori and Susan and Jordan, and they were game. So I don't know if we were all crazy or what, but I know alone I would have been in over my head, but together we made it happen.
Thanks, Nicole. And one of the things we wanted to do is, I don't know if you all are hearing feedback. I'm going to see here. Take you back to, October, November, December of last year. I think most of us want to block last year out. Last year was tough, probably one of the toughest professional and maybe personal year that we've had. And so the idea of connecting with other people was so exciting. And I think what it turned into, not only amongst the 5 of us, but amongst, I believe there was 39 people who worked on this, was just having so much fun. And so we just wanted to show you a taste of some of the things that we used along the way just to keep us motivated, positive, and pull it together. And while you're waiting for this to load, just imagine what we're like in person, y'all.
Hopefully you can see that.
And we appreciate your comments in the chat because that gets us excited, and we're glad if you're having fun too. So,
did we lose?
We may have lost Nicole with our presentation, but that's okay. We'll give her a second to come on back. But while she does, I happen to know the next part was us talking about our process. And so obviously when we thought about all the different areas, all the content standards, there had to be some way we could organize and work collaboratively. And it goes back to every person, instructor. Thank you for the extra dancers. I love that. That's my favorite, Carlton. What it came back to is we couldn't do every single content standard, right? So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But what we did do is we called on Doreen Tuck from Alamance Community College, and I always call her Data Doreen. She's really organized, and she just sees things in an organized way. So she kind of set up that template. But once that template became something that we used, then what happened was everyone just kind of contributed. It was a very flexible thing. We had to have something to get started. Once again, during COVID, we were faced with working in different ways collaboratively and troubleshooting some technical aspects. And when we couldn't figure something out, I don't know, we just danced and laughed and that kind of thing.
I want to say too that the collaboration was was so valuable in this process. Oh, and here we are. We're back.
I'm doing backup.
Perfect.
It's going to get dicey, y'all.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the plan. As Jen was just mentioning, this group came, and Nicole as well, this group came together, and one of the first things we had to do was to recruit our CCR coordinators and instructors for the project. We needed buy-in. This was something that the 5 of us simply couldn't do alone, and not something that any one of our schools, I felt like, or we felt like, could do on our own. The collaboration, I think, is key. We established teams, and it wasn't like Davidson Davy chose to do a certain level and Jordan's at Randolph chose to do a certain level. We wanted our faculty to work collaboratively with faculties from other colleges so that we can come up with the best product possible. We knew this is something we wanted to get in place, so we needed to develop a timeline. That timeline needed to allow for quality work. We didn't want to go through this process and come up with something. We really wanted to come up with something great. So we developed a timeline that would give us a product, a quality product in a timely manner so that they could be used. One of the things Jen mentioned a moment ago was we wanted to map out 50% of the curriculum. Y'all, when you look at that adult content standards book, if you think you're going to teach everything and teach it all well, you're going to have students here forever. So, but we all know if we can map out 50% of that curriculum and teach it well, then students are going to be able to progress and move forward. We wanted to map out 8-week terms or units, 2 to 4 maps per subject. It gave us, it gives us an amount of material that an instructor can work with. We also integrated reading, writing, speaking, and listening and technology throughout. Along with this plan that we had to do all of these things, we also added companion maps for career pathways. We set this up as our plan, and we have to give so much credit, all the credit to our faculty who did such an amazing job in carrying this through.
Just want to mention a little bit in more detail why we decided to go with only 50%. You heard what Susan had said, but there's research to support this. Dr. Max Thompson, who presented at a workshop that I attended with Pitt County Schools a very, very long time ago, started this process where you design your curriculum based on what you know as a teacher is the most important for your students to be able to make progress. Typically, any test, and that includes GED, TABE, CASAS, and any informal assessments that our teachers design, is only really going to be able to test about 20% of what you're teaching. So trying to teach 100% means you're trying to cover everything, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we're teaching it well. So it's a mindset that you're changing, but when you map out 50%. And actually, I think we got in more than 50% just by way of integrating and connecting topics with others, and making sure that we had integrated the technology and also had those companion maps. So we're covering a lot of material, but this way we're teaching it well. We also are providing that good continuity with our students. So they're making progression step by step, but in more of an accelerated way, and that gives them that gives the teacher flexibility as well. It certainly cut down on the amount of time our teachers had to spend planning. Planning is crucial, and yet in basic skills with our part-time teachers, we aren't able to give them reimbursement for planning time. So by doing this work up front and collaborating and being able to share these maps with our teachers, we've given them a lot more information, a lot more guidance, a lot more direction than they would have had previously. I think that's everything I was going to say. I'm going to go ahead and move this forward.
And I just want to add on to what Lori said about saving time, because I think that when we started this project, that was probably one of our main goals was how do we save our instructors time, because they do spend so much time planning and identifying standards. And like Nicole said, us handing them the content standards book and saying, look at the checklist and figure it out. So that's been one of the best things from this project. And so I think the picture in the slideshow is a great, in a nutshell, of what the process really was moving from this vision of these maps that we had, and how do we trickle that down to our instructors and our coordinators and actually develop them. And so it was moving from our ideas and actually getting that on paper. And Susan kind of touched on the overall plan, which was the beginning meetings that we had. We had several of those as a group. So if you can imagine 39 instructors, coordinators, and directors and deans all in a virtual session, and we had multiples of those. It was really fun to just watch all the ideas develop and come together. And then that moved into the small groups. And picking, the instructors that we had on this project and coordinators were this was not a volunteer. This was, we wanted the best that we had, who we knew would give this project 110%. And that's really, really what happened. And so we went from the small groups, and our instructors exchanged contact information through us and met several times virtually, over by phone, and met in their groups to identify the 50%, what Lori just talked about, and then move to the learning targets, and then move to pulling together resources, which was really fun to see, because you may have an instructor in a group that had been teaching for 16, 17 years, and then you would have an instructor who's only been in the program for a couple years. So it was really fun to see them exchange ideas and resources, and that may include videos, textbooks, simulations, just depending on their map that they were developing, which was based on the program and NRS level. So I think, anything else on that for the process that I'm missing? I'm going to turn it over to Jen, because she might touch on it with the template.
Sure. And I kind of covered this a little bit while Nicole traveled in and out of the virtual world. But this is the part that I was kind of sharing a little bit about, just to get us started, we needed to have some kind of common form. And there was a lot of discussion. It wasn't just Doreen, but she really kind of anchored us with this. So I'll let y'all keep rolling.
So let's talk about the benefits. And we've kind of talked about this just a little bit along the way. A benefit we have is that this has provided a valuable networking opportunity. It has been great for faculty. I think faculty have really enjoyed it. I will say that the ladies that you see in this presentation today, that we have really enjoyed this networking and have gained a lot as in the process, in this networking process. By having this in place, it will save teachers time. You can having these in 8 weeks, it'll be here, it'll be there for the instructors. It's really great, and we want to mention this too. It's really great for new faculty that come in. One of the things that Nicole mentioned at the very beginning was about how a new person comes in and they want to know what they're supposed to teach, and you hand them the big content standard book. Here we have curriculum maps, and it will certainly help all teachers, and it will certainly benefit new teachers as well. It ensures quality instruction based on the North Carolina adult content standards. You know, our faculty, our part-time instructors and full-time instructors, they spend an awful lot of time preparing for class. This is a resource that they have on hand that will benefit them. Provides continuity with flexibility. Certainly, by having these maps, it does provide that continuity. At the same time, it does give faculty flexibility to do what they feel is needed. The concise quality curriculum maps to give new and existing instructors. Yes, again, like I mentioned before, these are concise, they're quality. A lot of folks have worked on it. A lot of folks have had their eyes on it, and it is an excellent resource to give our new and existing faculty. We really feel like this will be we feel like this is a benefit to our faculty, and hope it will be a benefit to yours as well.
So are we going to go ahead and show the video, Nicole? Okay. So yeah, go ahead.
You want to say something first?
No, I just was going to say, we're just going to show a quick video of some testimonials and feedback, because one of the other things that will really make these maps successful is continuous feedback from the instructors when they're actually applying it in their classrooms, which many of them have started to do. So we just put together a fun video of some testimonials.
The curriculum map is a collaboration between 5 community colleges and 38 experts in order to help assist CCR instructors in the classroom. Maps are broken up into either units or weeks to help ensure pacing throughout the semester. Benchmark standards are provided to align to state standards. Learning targets allow instructors to pinpoint exactly what the student should know by the end of the lesson. And the team has included a variety of resources for the instructors to use in the classroom. These resources include YouTube videos, simulations, Khan Academy lessons, worksheets, reading passages, and more.
My name is Phyllis Sally. I've been teaching at Randall Community College for almost 16 years. I will be using the curriculum maps for my English to speakers of other languages and for my citizenship classes also, as a visual tool of what content and skills need to be taught in a given week. I will create my own lesson plans that are guided by the North Carolina College and Career Readiness Standards in a better and more effective way, incorporating teaching methods, materials, and exercises that will involve student maximum participation. This way, I will be able to easily track their progress by assessing how much they achieved and what needs more focus on.
currently, here are the results, and we have curriculum maps for all subject areas that are in the adult content standards. We integrated technology into all of the maps, and then we also included contextualized maps for a variety of career pathways that we were developing at our particular college campuses. So I feel like this is going to be a really huge resource that we're going to be able to offer our teachers, and we are. This is available. It has been uploaded to this session in Excel event with the Performance Measures Conference. So you have access to it if you would like to. We have ELA standards, we have reading, math, we have ASE level as well. We combined levels because we know that a lot of times you don't have the resources to just have a straight level 1, level 2, level 3. So we put levels together, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And but we've made it flexible enough so teachers can break it down if they need to. I think some of you participated in the session before this one, and we're talking about really targeting student needs. So being able to have this map at our fingertips will give us an opportunity to differentiate instruction as well as teach whole group. We know what the research says about direct instruction. That's the way to go. And so we are all trying to find ways to help our teachers be as efficient as possible.
So it was mentioned earlier, we had 39 contributors to this project. Here are just a few of them. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. These are examples of the colleagues who contributed to this project, and we couldn't have done this project without each and every one of them and all of the work they put into it. We want to sincerely thank them all for their efforts and their time. And we hope that their efforts will help you as you look at this resource and see if it's something you would like to utilize as well.
Okay, thank you, ladies. That was awesome. And I'm very sorry for that technical difficulty I had. It's like I was suddenly sucked into a black vortex and I was alone in there. So thank you for keeping the show running. Any questions we'd love to answer at this point? You could put them in the chat box or unmute yourself if you're able.
I'm looking at a couple of questions. The content standards that we use to guide our planning and guide our development of these maps are at the website, North Carolina Community College System website under the CCR pages. So you just have to go there and you can pull those up. They're also available if you use other curriculum mapping websites. I think Curriculum Assist is out there, and they're in that. But this is now, I think this is going to be a game changer for many of us, because this is what we're giving our teachers when they finish, when they get trained and they come on board and we're ready to go. We're giving this as an extra resource. It's going to save them so much time. I'm going to let anybody else join in. Somebody also asked about hybrid GED classes. Yeah, we do this hybrid, blended, face-to-face, straight online, and these maps can be used for any of that.
In looking at the chat, I'm seeing lots of thank yous, and thank you for the resource. We thank y'all for being a part of our session today. We certainly hope it will be as beneficial to you as it has been for us. Carolyn Raymond said, "This is so great. Thank you for all your hard work and for sharing it using your curriculum maps, how long would you guess it would take a typical student to say, at say a level 3 in CASAS math, to get to the HiSET or GED readiness level?
We designed these maps to be 8-week maps. We also, some of our teachers had issues with that, rightfully so. We wanted this to be as flexible as possible. So we were thinking 8 weeks, but depending on how much time and how rigorous your schedule is, you could do it in 16 weeks if you wanted to hone in on specific skills and give those lower level students a longer time. You could do it in less time. So we felt like 8 weeks was a good way to design it. And that is what we think. Level 3, usually when they get to a level 4, they're pretty much ready for high school equivalency testing. That's been our experiences. So if we can get, and honestly, y'all, once we get that MSG from post-testing, we really want to hone in on helping them get those tests done if that's their goal. We know that not all the students we teach have high school equivalency as a goal, but if that's a goal, we definitely are going to use these maps to accelerate that instruction for them.
And I was going to say, oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead, Jen. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the thing that I got excited or sparked my interest and joy in doing this is that, in this kind of environment, especially not only the last year, but just in general, the pace that everyone's working, this was just a really great example of how we could pull together and work smarter, not harder. There was no reason that and that's why we felt strongly that we should share this, because, we're only as good as we are together, right? So it just really was exciting to be a part of that. I also wanted to mention, besides the subject areas, we also had some career. What I call WIOA-ized some things. So there's a lot of good stuff in there.
And we hope we can continue adding to this resource. So we started out with that career pathway. We called them companion maps. We used what we were doing at each of our colleges, but we want to expand that as we continue to develop curriculum for IET and for career pathways. So we'll add to those, and those are maps that the teachers can integrate into their reading, writing, and math content, so that they're still very much tied to those adult content standards. But again, this is an easier way for them to contextualize, and they've got more information and resources at their fingertips.
There are more thank yous in the chat. Abraham said it's a great resource for our ESOL programs across the board. Carrie Lynn said that's helpful, and thank you. Any other questions?
So these documents were uploaded. Hopefully you can all access them. There's 4 documents. The maps are grouped by program. So you should see a document for ABE curriculum maps, ASE, ESL, and the companion maps. When we finished compiling these documents, I believe we all had some kind of internal professional development, kind of unveiling of the finished project, where we did a little internal professional development with sharing the curriculum maps with our instructors, showing them how to use them, and we got so much positive feedback. It really was very well received by instructors, and it's certainly something that we will continue to tweak as we get feedback. We know that that's important, but we wanted to get it out there in their hands and also share with our colleagues across the state. And I hope that as you modify or come up with your own products, that we can share across the board with one another.
don't have any other questions, I was going to ask my colleagues, for you all, what was the, I don't know, most surprising thing, or maybe a challenge that there were some moments maybe that you thought, is this going to really come together, and how maybe, in different ways you all overcame that?
I would like to say one of the things that was maybe a little bit surprising is, well, and it probably shouldn't have been, but several people that I went to about being a part of it were really stressed out and tired, and just didn't feel like they had that time, even for something that they were going to be paid a stipend for. Didn't feel like they had that time or energy to add one more thing to their plate. So I think that was a little bit. It was understandable, and at the same time, we do have to stop and think. Our instructors, as hard as they work, they have a life at home, and we needed to utilize those faculty that felt like they were best able to give it what this project needed.
Yeah, and I want to add to that too, Susan. I had no doubt that we, I knew we could pull this off, and our instructors and our coordinators could, but I think it was initially the fear of asking them, can you do one more thing, especially, with COVID and everything going on with that, because everyone is so tired and stretched so thin. So that was probably just asking, but when we explained it, I feel like, and when we had our first meeting, that Nicole led, that was just so successful. And I think when the instructors understood what we were trying to do, to have this sustainable, really great tool for them, they were like, absolutely. And Nicole was always like really good with the scheduling and flexible with the deadlines. So during the holidays and things like that, we were like, no project, no maps, be with your families, and, all of that. So she did a really good job with that.
And if you haven't gotten it yet, Nicole was the brains behind this whole thing. That after the CCR presentation approached us, and I am just so thrilled she did. So I really want to say a thank you to Nicole for all of your efforts in getting this group together.
Thank you, ladies. You all are great teammates. Like I said earlier, I was in way over my head with a great idea, so it wouldn't have come to fruition without every one of you and all of our instructors and coordinators who helped. So thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the positive comments in the chat box.
When you look at if you do pull the maps down and look at them, if you have additional questions, then please reach out to any of the 5 of us. We are more than happy to help you. And again, we would love your feedback about those maps too once you've used them.
Absolutely. We certainly would love to hear. Next steps is adding to and really making sure that our teachers are using them, showing them how to take advantage of this resource. So that's where we're going from here. Like Nicole said earlier, we have all kind of introduced it to our staffs, our faculty, but we're going to dive down and get into it in more detail here at Pitt, so that they're used to using it for their planning. And I think it will make a big, big difference.
As Abraham just said, together we are better.
Absolutely.
And I certainly know the program here at Davidson is better because of working with you ladies.
And I would say, while we're just thanking, everybody, the academy, everybody, I would say truly the important part of this was the instructor level, because how many things get designed and you see them and you're like, has the person even stepped in a real live classroom? Is this really reasonable? How would I really approach this with, and you're thinking of students that you have in mind that are in front of you. So I think that's the biggest value of it too, is just that classroom, from the ground level, and just everybody working on different aspects. Everybody had, something to give.
it gave us an opportunity to see a variety of perspectives. And when you put heads together like that, it helps you not miss something. Because a lot of times, if we're looking at it from our own perspective, we only catch what's in our head. And then all of a sudden, somebody else will say, well, did we think about this? And did we think about that? And it just really made this product so much of a higher quality because we weren't relying on our own college and our own philosophies and our own perceptions. We were able to share, and it just made such a huge difference. And I think our teachers and our staffs that were involved in this appreciated that as well. I know one of the sidelights of the benefits of this was that they had a chance to share ideas with each other that, oh, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know you could do that. Or I didn't know that was another way of approaching the way we teach our adult learners. So just having that interaction was absolutely crucial.
Yeah, collaboration was key here. I feel that even professional development, we've talked about doing more things together because we can't just function in our own bubble. We need one another. We need fresh ideas. We need to bounce ideas off of each other. And we certainly had a chance to do that.
Certainly did.
And
And
won't
I
it be
would say
great when
too-
we can do more face to face?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you can't tell, we're all face-to-face people. we like collaboration. But no. And in this project, it worked because if it was any bigger, it would be too cumbersome. I mean, this was
Right.
still a pretty good amount of people to collaborate, but just know that to our other colleagues, we know there's so many people who could have added to this, and that we just wanted to kind of just try this and see what happened. And that maybe this could spur on other projects for groups to take on because, and I just feel like it's just a great way of helping each other. But also, if you try to do it all the way around, it would just be so big. And, those deadlines get extended and extended because you're trying to get in touch with people. But this seemed to be just the right size, I guess. But you all can give your opinion. That's just mine.
Nope, I agree.
It was a perfect size, and it was a great learning experience for everyone.
Are there any other questions? Any last minute questions? We want to be mindful of your time. It looks like we may be able to let you go a minute or two early
That's
even.
right. We can give them back 7 minutes in their day.
You could run, go to the bathroom, drink some
I know, before the
water.
next session.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
And thank you for
Have a
your
great day. Enjoy the conference.
Hope you let us know what you think of it when you start using it, because we want to know.
Please let us know.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, stop sharing.